Welcome to the Round 19 Fantasy Take TV podcast. We've got on early this week, which is always nice, but small agenda today. We're going to speak about some random stuff, the news and what's going on in the world and whatever. We'll give that a go. Speaking about a few injuries, which I own most of them, so it's pretty easy to remember them all, and a few unfortunate ruck injuries as well. Go through a few issues like a Zach Fisher, maybe touch on Sexton who played, had the role, but not going too great and stuff like that. But across to you, Anno. See how you went this week. So yeah, how did you go and whatnot?
Yeah, not good, mate. Not good. That week I had a couple weeks ago now, I think, where I was like 1,000th for the round. All those players that went well this week, as I said, probably back then, just the pod sort of players you have, just no good at all. Like Anderson, I think I said it last week with Bedford suspended, won't get the tag, but he obviously got that off.
Yeah,
we're not speaking about MRO on this podcast, but so he doesn't really handle them well yet, which is seen, and he's not getting much support as well, which is I mean, Tukes out of course, but your boy Rao, this was the only time I'll say his name this 40 minutes, mate, is not going well. So no, he needs to learn how to deal with them a bit better. Jezza, who I got in for Sexton a couple of weeks ago, which obviously trading at Sexton was the right call. Jezza might not have been the right call to get in. I think I had 450k, and I was just saying to you before, looking at who I could have gone instead, and I didn't even realize Draper had forward status, so I could have maybe got him. And since I'm not a Jackson owner, maybe ride him till the end and have a bit better ruck cover. Had to field Kruger again this week, which whoever's doing that alongside me, holding Gorn, that's gone. You take 60 last week, but 20 this week, not good at all. And then Dunks as well, 69. So he's been really good since I got him in. And then this is his first pretty poor game in a while. But I don't know what happened too much in that game. But I think Sydney midfield was on top. I think they tagged Neil pretty well, didn't they? So that didn't go well. And the last thing I'll say about my team is the VC. I did say I'd do Sinclair into Butters, and for whatever reason, Friday night I just said, let's stick it on Caldwell, against your mob. Maybe you get, an easier midfield matchup. And he struggled in the first half, played well in the second half, and then was actually looking like maybe we'll go 120 plus, and then got that tackle from Keys and set out the rest of the game. Which was a good game to watch. Happy I did tune in for that one. Captain Butters, and obviously I think he was a lot captain this week by many. So if I got that 140 from Sinclair as a VC, could have helped me a bit. That's a long way of saying I didn't even say my score. 2,266. So yeah, not good. I think 2,300 plus was probably what most people got this week looking around. I know you got a bit better than that as well, so would have got you up. MVP, pretty slim pickings. Could go to Sinclair, I guess. 140 is not massively owned. English 139. That's surprising. I didn't catch that game. I did see how wet it was and what the ground was like, so I'm actually not sure how he did that in those conditions. So maybe it's him. We'll give it to him.
As a non-owner, I'll take that because heaps of stoppages when it's wet, and then
that's true. The matchup was
playing against key defender. Really, they got smashed as well. So
look, we'll give English an MVP. He hasn't really had many chances for them this year, and I guess the fault got to be Jezza. I guess not a great night for key forwards, but he's just been poor 2 weeks since getting him in. Last week 75, he could have gone better. I think he missed a couple of goals this week. What do you have? 6 touches, kicked 1 goal. Yeah, not good. So I think they've got North this week. Maybe he gets a big one there, but it doesn't really matter for me. I'm sitting at 15k, but anyone else who might have gone his way, not looking good at the minute. How about you?
Just looking at Jezza's scores, worse by a lot.
Oh, terrible. Yeah, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the ground. It was like a mud pit, so not great. And they got smashed.
Yeah. Team went pretty good. 2,435 this week, I think. 2,438. No, it got scaled up. So I'll take that. Finally did the route of Rosie, which was good. Yep. Fault of the week is Grundy. He's the only one that, I guess Heaney as well, but everyone has him. But just a 72, very annoying. But I think his matchup was tough. Watching him versus Oscar, Oscar just gets very close to you and kind of bodies you a bit. It's kind of hard to get a clear tap against him, where he doesn't really get that many himself, but it's hard to get it against him, if that makes sense. Yeah. Just watching. So
he got 20 touches, Oscar, so did well.
Okay.
13 contested, 9 clearance. So there you go.
Righto. Not great for Grundy then, but now he's got English, which he went 130 DT, 80 SC on last time. So hopefully that reverses or something. But he can have the fault. That MVP, I'm gonna give it to Sarong.
Yeah, I was considering him. Yep.
Been tagged a lot lately. Got off the chain. Should have captained him, but didn't. But good to see Caleb. We're talking about these next gen players. I think he is that. But just no one gets attention. Maybe Hayden Young gets some going forward. Don't know. But got West Coast this week, so might be in line for captaincy again. Talk about that after. My captains were. I was set on VC Butters, and I had no plan B. I'm like, Butters is going to score 200. If something goes wrong, we'll just have a fallback in Gordon or Heaney or something. And he scored 89. Looked maybe sore. A lot of bench time, low tog. So, Captain Gordon for his 108. Unfortunate fourth quarter. Another one where he just went negative, I think, or the last 20 minutes was negative. Checked my phone, it was on 118. Checked into the game, he's on 108.
Oh, really?
Thinking, oh God, would have been nice. But I did avoid the Butters one, which I think 42% of people did. So to get 20 points on 40% of the comp, I'll take every point. So also shout out to Billy Dowling, who's holding my forward line together.
Yeah, I was just looking. Is it 300K already, George? Averaging 70.
Yeah, he's good. Yep. He's playing wing. He's I was reading. He had one game. I think he had like 44 touches and a few goals in a under 18s game. He's second-year player, so he's capable of massive numbers. He knows where to run and stuff. So, but I think like in the second quarter, it was second or third. You just didn't touch it because I think most of the second and third quarter was just. I think Essendon kicked 50 points one quarter and we kicked 50 points another quarter. So when you're on the wing, it's just going up and down through the middle.
What was that game?
Yeah. Ridiculous. Oh, that was a very fun game to watch. I'll tell you what, I was hoping so I had Essendon lose, Collingwood lost, just needed Carlton to lose to round that out. But I don't know. Crows played good. Crows played all right. I think Bombers could have easily won. Like Merritt had a snap in the last minute. That goes 3, we lose. So that was an entertaining match because high scoring and defending was, I don't know, we were just scoring so easily on each other. It was like 115 to 110 or something. Yeah. So, good to see those shootout games on prime time. So that was good. But anyway, that's my team. Getting to captain stuff soon. I've got a bunch of topics here we're going to speak about.
Here we go.
I'll speak about SEN. So I remember we were speaking a few weeks ago, and I said, I listen to SEN all the time, probably more Fridays because Gary and Tim, they're all right, but I don't think they watch a lot of footy, to be honest, judging by how they're going at this point. But you said, like, if you listen to SEN, it's like you don't want to be one of those 40-year-olds that listen to SEN and whatever, which I'm heading for anyway. But I was listening to SEN. It was one of the funniest. I listened to like the podcast that goes on Spotify because I record at like I think 6 a.m. So by the time I'm driving and stuff, like it's pretty much already done. It's just funny episodes. So I think they have this quiz every week, and the quiz is a complete disaster. And it's Kane Corns and David King, and like every week it gets so bad. And David King's like, how is this? How are we still doing this? So like the quiz goes, they'll get 2 callers to ring in, and they'll have to each answer or give an answer. For example, players that are top 20 for contested possessions. So they'll ring up. So one person has to say that, and say that. And one guy rang in, and he was a troll, and they got like this sort of the inkling. So he goes, what team do you support to this guy, and he goes, "Oh, I don't have a team, but I'm a big fan of Kane Corn's opinions." So they knew he was in trouble. They knew they were in trouble straight away. And then I don't know. I found this funny. It's like their name. Yeah, they had to name an NFL team and name the team name and the animal or whatever
mascot. Whatever.
So the first guy goes, the non-troll. He goes, Chicago Bears, and they're like, tick, that's good. And usually the quiz is so bad that usually the first person gets it wrong every time, which is why they hate the quiz, because they don't understand the rules. They don't know the answers. It's just a disaster every week. But yeah, he goes, Chicago Bears. And then the troll goes, they go to the trolls like, yes, his name was, he rang in as Gaz, obviously like a bullshit name. And he goes, Marconi Stallions, which I think is a New South Wales like soccer team, like a bottom division team. And Kane's like, get him off. We've been stitched up. It was so funny. And then they did talk back a bit later, and someone was complaining about Laura Kane and Andrew Dillon. And he's just like, seriously, I've had enough of these two. You know, the tackling, the buys, it's just ridiculous. You know, it's like we've got Biden and Kamala Harris in charge, and they just both lost it. I was pissing in the car, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I was working there for a bit, doing like internship, not working, I guess. But it's just, it's an operation in there. It's so much they got to get through it and talk about it. It's just too much for me. I feel like these days, too much footy talk. I just can't. Yeah, I don't know. I think when I was younger, I like listened to it more. And hey, maybe it's because I don't know. I only watch the Tigs games every week now. Maybe another primetime game or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because I'm busier. You know, I'm working all day Saturday. Most of the time, or got stuff on. So I don't know. The footy talk, like. I get the people who like driving to work or whatever listen to it, that makes sense. But man, some of the people that just call into those, it's always been the case. Like even back in the day, Triple M, like people just taking the absolute piss, out of like Billy or JB. But I don't know. One thing I did see a clip of Buddy Kane this week, talking about Uze or something on the Sunday Footy show. I'm like, like giving it to him. Saying like, he's down on the bench.
Happy on the bench, yeah.
Happy on the bench. I think Steely Green kicked his first goal of his career, and that was what the clap was for. And he's apparently not allowed to get happy about that. I don't know, mate. He just I think he really does hate Richmond these days. You could even see when we were winning, he was like not all about it. It was very like hard for him to give any praise. I don't know why that's the case. Why Richmond's the team that he doesn't like, but
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, I just saw that and I was like, "What? This is why I don't listen to much footy talk anymore." Like, why the fuck are we going to do these?
Got to filter through the shit, but
that's the thing. When I was at SEN, seeing and obviously that was on the Sunday Footy show, but that's just him. They like plan this all out. Who is he going to go at today? What's going to get clicks? That's what it's for. So
yeah,
if you find it entertaining, sure, like that can be entertaining, 100%. But if you're actually looking for anything of substance, maybe go elsewhere. But then that's the annoying thing, I think, sometimes, because Kane is a guy that could have good opinions and smart opinions on the game. Yeah. And he does give that sometimes. It's just like when he decides to go down the other path, it's just like,
pick some more targets. Like he's targeted for Shelley a bit. Just let him go, man. He's a kid.
Even last year, like he was hard targeting Taranto all year, calling him, absolutely dog shit and all this. I was just like, why are you going so hard at one guy? It's like crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I understand the role he's playing, so it's not like you get upset about it. You just choose not to listen to it. It's like not getting anything out of it.
It's almost like old First Take and Undisputed.
That's what it is, yeah. But they're like way behind the ball with that, and they're just we're not American. It's different here. You don't like that stuff doesn't really roll as well here, but yeah, he still gets clicks. Like he still does well. Kane in what if he says something, it's for sure going everywhere. So.
Yeah,
he's doing it well. You can't argue that. I guess he's doing the role well.
Yeah. Anything else you want to speak about? I don't know, speak about F1 or something. Anything else?
Yeah, I think you put that down there. You're not a big. I mean, to be fair, I'm not the massive follower of F1. A lot of people would know more about
massive
it.
News everywhere. There's like everywhere this morning.
Yeah, and I guess last night makes sense. Piastri won his first. I guess he's won a sprint race before, but his first full race, in F1, and it was a bit of controversy around it. Somewhat, but that's F1. There's always controversy. So yeah, that was good to see. It was I'm not going to get into details F1. I don't think too many people want to hear about it. But you just said you saw your whole feed was F1, so
Yeah,
you're going to try and maybe learn a bit more about it. Look, I'll watch races that are at a decent time these days. I used to watch a lot more, and I think I'll start watching a bit more. Oscar's in his second season. Like, I just like following Australians, so I always love watching and rooting for Danny Rick. When he was a bit better, he's still in F1 these days, but he's not too hot at the moment. Not driving a good car, not driving too well. But Oscar's obviously in a good car. McLaren are very, very good at the moment, and he got his first win. So definitely watch more, for that reason. But he could, like, he's very young, but he, talent wise and where he is at his, at his age and stage of his career could very well be in 10 years' time the best Aussie driver there's been. There's obviously Danny Rick, Mark Webber back in the day. I think even some other older ones, but he's got a chance. He's in a good car now, and he's already only 23, I think. So good chance, and that's his first win on the board. So we'll see how he goes for his career. I think a lot of Australians will be following that pretty closely. And I think you got the next topic, George.
Oh, not really. I had US politics here, but I don't think there's much to speak about.
I think we spoke about last week the assassination attempt. It's ridiculous.
Circus.
It's ridiculous.
Did you see? I was going to speak about my tweet. So I tweeted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I was watching the North Carlton game. I'm sure you were watching that. And
yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think the umpires probably decided the game, and I think most people could see that. I sort of tweeted, whoever plays Carlton in the finals will have to beat Carlton and the umpires. And it was pretty well received, except from Carlton supporters, which can happen. But we're all one-eyed in some regard, some more than others. But yeah, and I open I check news.com. It's on, like, when I do my videos, I've got my bookmarks, and news.com's always on there. I just check it every day, just see what's going on. And the game was on, the umpiring. There's an article about the umpiring of the game, and
your tweet was on
it. Where's my royalties?
Did they actually?
They didn't. They didn't put my name or anything. They just said one person on Twitter lashed out. They said,
so they didn't embed the tweet. They just pulled the quote from it.
They just copied and pasted. I checked the guy that wrote it, and I don't know. Just must have been lurking Twitter, and pretty easy job. Copy paste. It was about like 5 quotes from other people as well. Like, journalism. Is that what it's come to? I don't know. But yeah, usually I don't talk about umpires, but I think he's been specifically bad. But I'll leave it at that this year. Unless you have anything else to add.
Nah, but I forget that feeling from a lot of people whenever you talk about footy, like not just umpiring, but obviously the suspension stuff, which I can never be bothered talking about these days because it's just impossible to understand. So
yeah,
that side of it, I guess, turns people away, and I can understand. Like, it's just like no consistency, an absolute circus. And at the end of the day, you just want to watch good footy. So I do, and that's what I want to do, just watch good footy. So I hate all that chatter about it. I just, even if it is bad, which we can see that parts of it are, not great, I still don't want to talk about it because I was just like, we gotta watch sport to watch the sport, and the best players and teams, or your team, whatever, go around. I just can't be asked half the time talking about umpiring and all that stuff. So it is hard to not talk about, though. Like, when you make your tweet that you think like it actually affects the outcome of a game. That's obviously the big thing. So, but I don't think there's a sport in the world that's harder to umpire than Aussie rules. So. And it's not always just umpires too. It's obviously the lawmakers of what rules they're being told to pay and not pay, and it's an impossible task sometimes. I feel like, I just don't understand. There's no sport that goes, oh, hang on, it's round 12. Let's just crank up the holding the balls a bit and start paying them more. Like, that just doesn't happen in another sport. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's a rule, and it's so ambiguous. Games happen so fast. Free kicks like that are hard to pay. You know what I mean? Like, they're hard to get right 100% of the time. No, I wouldn't be able to, live pay anything like that to a decent rate that's correct. So I don't know. Like that's why I hate talking about it. Like I've already spoken 2 minutes about it here, and I'm just like, who cares? Like,
yeah,
rather just watch the footy. But I get it. It comes with it, I guess.
I think it's ruining outcomes this year. Like it's happened multiple times. Like what the hell? Like it's just taking the sting out of the game. But hopefully, I don't know, more education, more clarity. I don't know. They got the job to do in the off season. Hopefully, they can do it. But I don't have any faith in. Still hold a grudge against what they did to the start of the season with the buys. Us poor fantasy and SuperCoach players, unforgivable. But hopefully, something new, something good next year. I think that's it for off-topic stuff. Probably spent a bit too long on that, considering it's a SuperCoach podcast.
That's right, mate. How long we been? We'll put a comment. Just skip if you don't want to.
Yeah, I'll pin that. No, all good. I actually wanted to say one more off-topic thing. I did the most tight-ass thing this week. So there's these drinks, right? So in the health food section at Coles. So I always go to the health food section because I'm like allergic to like a million foods. And I just go for like the natural stuff because I know that's not going to kill me. Although I think some is psychological, but that's another story. But there's all this clearance stuff. Like there's so much clearance for health foods because one, it's too expensive, and two, no one buys it. But you can get like these powdery, like berry and apple drinks and whatever, and they're like health drinks, like gut drinks, but they just taste good in general. So you just put them in water, and they're like 80% off. They're like, for like a pack of 100 grams, they're usually like $25. It's ridiculous. Who's going to pay for 100 grams of powder? And they're like, 80 to 85% off. So I've been going to Coles and cleaning them all up. So I've gone to like 4 Coles in my area and bought like a year's supply. And I'm drinking it now. I'm going to drink it like every episode. It's just you add it to water. It's just flavored water with more nutrients. It's getting more nutrients into your body. That was it.
So you just went to 5 different Coles?
4, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty tight ass, but
I don't hate that. There's more tight ass things you can do than that, I think.
It's cheap.
Cool. All right. Anything SuperCoach, George? If anyone's still watching.
SuperCoach news, yes. All right. So there's a few here. So Dawson's concussed. So was who else got concussed?
Nank. Right.
Someone got it was
Caldwell at the end of the game as well. So Mackay, yeah.
Dawson and Mackay got like a please explain because they stayed on.
That's right.
But yeah, they're both concussed, so they're going to miss a week. I don't think anything's been announced for Mackay though. Rosie had a hip pointer issue. He sat out most of the fourth quarter. Caldwell, he cleared the concussion test, which is why he went off. He's also feeling his ribs on the bench. So I guess more of a watch this space when the injury list comes out. Luke Jackson, so a bit of confusion here for those following. So the injury report says a corked calf, but I think there's footage of him having ice on his knee. So I guess we'll wait for the injury report, but just found that, I guess the injury list on Tuesdays, but the injury report you probably trust, you would think. Nank concussed, he's missing this week. Tom de Koning's had punctured lungs. Apparently Sherry whacked him at some point. I don't know if it was off the ball or not, but he's out for the season, I think. I reckon I read that.
They said end of regular season, yeah. So
okay.
SuperCoach season, same thing. Yep.
Yeah. And then Kruger got KO'd as well. So pretty bad week for 1 weekers or concussion in general.
Yep.
And then on a side note, if you have Kynon Brown, 102K rookie, he scored. Did you see what he scored in that VFL?
No. Oh, no.
Take a guess how many. He scored 174. Guess how many tackles he had?
Okay. 20 then?
24.
24.
Yeah. So Melbourne lost pretty badly to Freo. So hopefully he can come in. And if you've got all these injuries, or like a Dawson that's definitely going to miss, and your ruck's under pressure, and we lose Jackson as well, something maybe he can help cover you a bit. So just a side note.
I only checked one VFL score this week, and it was ours because obviously Jagger Smith was playing, and some kid Downey, their ruckman, had 200 fantasy points. How's this for ruckman? 28 touches, 24 of them being kicks, 2 goals, 5 marks, 6 tackles, and 70 hitouts.
70.
202 fantasy.
Oh, that's enormous. You don't see 200 in fantasy almost ever.
No.
There's a few
So
180s, 190s, but it's unheard of. I don't think it's happened for a few years now.
But Ruckman almost getting 30 touches, but it was at Williamstown, on the night time. That's a wet. No, that ground is like in a wind tunnel, right? It's right on like the coast.
Yeah, okay.
There's any wind, it like just turns into a cyclone there, and it's if it's raining, it's just ridiculous ground. But my mate does play for Williamstown, and I was just asking about Jagger Smith. So 30 touches, 18 contested, not bad for his first game in the VFL. So
yeah,
any Tigers fan, I think that's the way we probably end up going. Just provided we don't beat North in a few weeks, or hopefully they just win another game, so it doesn't matter.
They're playing all right, North.
They are. They should have won. Not just. I'm not talking about Sunday, but more games than they have really in the last 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks. So,
well, they've got you guys and West Coast coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harry Sheasel, your boy. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
our new king has arrived. I reckon. I can't believe it.
I don't really know why anyone thought about trading him. I mean, I know. Yeah. Obviously, it's a lot easier playing down defense, but just the way he plays footy, I don't know. He's just a true ball player, footy player. Like, I don't think it really matters where he is. He's smart. Yeah. He's agile. He's quick. Like, good user most of the time. Like, his kicking can let him down sometimes, but he's just too smart and skillful most of the time that he just, I don't know, finds a way. Like, he's just so good. So freaking good. So
I'm going to start him next year if he's mid-only.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters. I would consider it too. The problem is he's just price-wise, he might be, what's he averaging now? 116. It's just,
attention probably comes too, but
got to, you think. Yeah.
LDU's still there though. He's pretty damaging.
Yeah.
Sure. So go through a few topics. I've only got 3 players here: Fisher, Sexton, and Sean Manor. So long story short, Sean Manor should have gone Manor over Philippou, but you can't really guess injuries. But I guess the lesson, maybe, I guess it's luck as well. But mature bodies hold up a bit more. We've seen that with McKercher, Philippou. First, second year players, it's tough to. Yeah, they're not as seasoned as like the older guys that can withstand a full year of footy.
Yeah, so, you got unlucky though with Philippou.
Yeah, I guess
his potential, scoring potential, I think is more than Manners. So I think you always go that option. There was no history of the hip, was there anything unless I'm missing something? So that's just.
I don't know. To be honest, I didn't check.
That's more unlucky. Yeah. I get where you're coming from though. Manor would have been a really good pick this year if he just got. The timing was right. Like early, he played that game, or he sub a couple of times right, and it just didn't really work out. So, he looks pretty good at the moment, but. Yeah.
How much he is. If you need a cheap guy.
I think he's already like 300 and something, dude. He's gone up quite a bit. Yeah, 312.
Oh, 312. I thought he was like 240. I don't know why I thought that, but
yeah, he's gone pretty well.
Okay. I don't know why I put him on the list then, but he would have been good if you got him. So I'll touch on. So what was that?
Yeah. No, go on. Yep.
So Sexton, I think this is dead pick. So he went forward for a bit, and they're just not using him as much. I think his confidence will be shot as well because they're not using him much, and he's borderline 22. I dare say sub risk given he was dropped a few weeks ago, and Weller's back and whatnot. They can use Weller on the wing if they want, but I think he's a trade. And then Zach Fisher's the probably the main issue that people are facing. People that I held for 1, traded on the second week. But yeah, we have a few questions, I think, on Fisher, what to do with him.
Yeah, go. If you got trades, you can go. But
if he's your last trade and he's your 23rd, JD's actually asking this. He's what's a second opinion? What would you?
You hold the trade then, don't you? You don't use it. Yeah, if he's your 23rd.
I would probably just on Dowling as 23rd, and then.
Oh, if he's got Dowling as well on the bench too, then I'd maybe trade.
Just hold off and maybe loop Fisher if you need to.
I don't know, George. What? 5 weeks left? No. 1, 2, 5.
There's nothing to really get to though in the forward.
That's what I was going to say. How much is he now? 470.
If you could do it to Dylan Moore in one, I'd consider it. I think you're good to run Dowling as your cover player, and then if you get like an injury to a defender or a mid, maybe you can get to someone good because there's still like cheap mids that are available. Like Sarong's like dirt cheap, for example. Like if a mid goes down, you can go to him, sort of thing. So I'd almost look at it like if you look at your defense, you look at your mids. If there's anyone cheap that you like, and that means they can be your out if someone gets injured.
I get what you're saying.
5 weeks is a long time. So
thing with Fishers though, I guess it depends on the team, right? What's your defense cover? Because he was probably also that for some people as their 23rd. Like they could swing him back. So maybe you get like a D7. Is there any like nice D7 types that are also got mid status? I guess Eddie Richards, but he's maybe too much now. I guess it's team dependent, right? What's your defensive cover? Dowling can be your mid forward. And then obviously not Sinclair. Obviously, I guess not a great match for Holmes, was it? The conditions.
If you get to like Tom Stewart and then push like a Nick Martin to M7, or you can.
That's true. Yeah, you got whatever you want. Yeah, you got enough defenders back there that they could be that. Granted, you've got someone in the midfield who's got a rookie guy that you can switch them with. I guess it's team dependent, right? But you want to have defense on all lines still, right? Because that's Matt Fisher might have been doing that. Say for like JD, he might have been his D7 and F7 type as well. So if you're trading Fisher out, you want to keep that defense cover, right? Especially if you're going to zero trades.
I think defense cover would be the thing.
Yeah.
If he's like not named this week, I'd almost just hold off so he doesn't drop.
Yeah, it doesn't drop. Yeah.
And then when you need
do
to
it with 3 weeks left or something, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But unless if you're trying to get to like a Stewart and that's like you got 50K in the bank, I'd probably pull the trigger this week. Because really, whoever you're getting in the forward line, I don't think they're going to be that much better than Dowling. Like maybe Dylan Moore if you don't have him.
The problem comes if you miss if another ruck like Gorn goes down. But like whoever you have, like a Cherry or if you had like Grundy or a big time mid like a Butters or a Bont goes down, like you want that trade. You'd really obviously want that trade to get to another big mid.
I think I'd almost just hold off a week if you can.
If he's dropped Fisher and not sub or anything, and doesn't drop, then I'd maybe hold off. And you don't need the cover, or you don't need it this week. Then I'd try and wait a couple more weeks. So injuries happen as we saw this week, another load of them. So that last trade, if you're in a good position, we already used ours, but it's whatever. You had to get rid of Rao. My team doesn't matter. But I think JD's still doing all right. Rank wise, not too bad. So it might pay off to hold that. And if a highly owned player goes down, it can benefit you greatly. So
I'd hold it for you. Yeah, unless you
hold for 1 or 2 more weeks
just to see if anything else goes wrong.
Yeah.
I think if you had like defender cover, I'd be like a Humphreys or something. I'd almost like just pull the trigger and get someone better. But
yes, if you did have good cover like Humphreys and then you got Dowling already, maybe just do it.
5 weeks no defender cover, made too nervous, I think.
Oh yeah, no, you can't run all lines. Yeah.
That's pretty much it for players, unless you can think of anyone else. But we can move into captains.
No, I'll just quickly scroll the traded out, George. Maybe. I guess Dawson's actually one of the most traded out players. Is there a problem with him? I guess the injury, the
concussion,
whatever he did in the last quarter. Yeah,
he's out this week.
I think not much you can even get to in the midfield.
I think I'm definitely not interested in trading Dawson. I think he's been like, I don't want to make excuses, but there's been the tags, and then he played 4 positions in one game, scored like 60, and then now got concussed. Was probably tracking for a 111, 110, 120.
Yeah.
Look, he hasn't been what I hoped for, but I think there are actual excuses.
Yeah.
But I'm holding Dawson.
Yeah.
I'm sure I love Neil, but
doesn't look like a lot of people are trading really at all, which obviously makes sense. So no, there's not really anyone else looking at it to talk about. Keys is one of the most traded players. He's 8th, not a lot, but actually been going well. Good last quarter in the midfield, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Benny Keys.
Had to go in there, though, because I think our Taylor and
of course, yeah, Dawes
they were retiring and stuff. So
yeah.
I got a question from Discord.
Yep.
Bogues. He says, do you think next year people will look at mids that aren't tagged, like a Dunkley or a Treloar, for example? Probably wouldn't go Treloar because of age, but it's been...
I get his point.
Yeah. His point is, when you look at players that don't get tagged, like Prime McRae was like brilliant, starting VCC for 4 years straight, never tagged. So is that something you'd consider for your starting team, or not really?
Do we? I guess you can just go off this year's data as to who gets tagged in teams. Like it seems like it's Noah Anderson now for Gold Coast. Like,
you wouldn't start him next
year
going
forward. Nah, not experiencing this. Like, he's really good when he's good, and also the home and away factor. Like, I don't know what his average is between the two, but God, it must be like a 50-point difference. Yeah, I get the dunks factor with Neil, but even still, Neil like hasn't copped that many tags, and he's averaging still very good numbers.
Yeah.
Who is it at Sydney? Is it like
Warner? They go to Warner.
Most of the time. It can be Goulden, depending on. I think the thing is, teams are different with who their tagger is, right, and where they want to bring the tag from. Whether it's like a forward rolling up or an actual starting on ball midfielder like this Bedford one from GWS came out of nowhere. In the last, it's probably been doing it for a couple months now, but that came largely out of nowhere. I do get his point though, but how many of those mids really are there if you scroll through like the highest averaging ones?
Well, like Nick, did you start Nick next year in the mid?
Neil?
Nick Dacos.
Oh, like Nick.
46, 30K.
He's he hasn't got a heap of tag. I think, I don't know. He's got, he obviously got tagged a couple of times, but I think that's just more a question on its own. Like, would you start Nick as a mid only anyway? At what's he 115 average? It'd be priced decent. Not expensive, but not. Oh, I don't know, George. I mean,
mate, yeah.
Like Sarong has been hurt recently by a lot of tags, but he's still averaging 117 because of how good he was before that.
Yeah.
Do you just say like, oh, I'm not picking this guy because of the potential 3-4 bad weeks when he's tagged, but I won't own him for the 120 plus average he does when he's not?
Not sure. I think it's
only an issue, I guess, with how many are doing it now. Because how many teams? Yeah.
And like some teams like just pull it out when they feel like it. Like Neil Bullen's done it twice. So
Richmond,
it's hard to know.
What? Like Marlon Pickett for 2 weeks, and then Jack Graham for a random 1-2 weeks. Like I don't know. Yeah.
I think I'll probably looked at the guys priced. Like I think like Petrarca, Rosie, Dawson, Andy, they're all going to be between 550, 580K.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through like individual players too much and stuff, but like Rosie, like I think price will be a bit of more of a factor, just judging by 40 trades now, and like flipping in the buys was like I flipped 2 plays in the buys and it got me through really well. I don't know, I think in total would have been an extra like 200 points, I reckon, because I would have been facing donuts otherwise. So maybe if you can pick up these discount guys and look to trade them. Like I started Steele this year, and my intention is Steele and Matt Crouch. My plan was maybe they're keepers. I don't think so at the time, because we had all these great mids we were thinking about start of the year, and then trade them in the buys. So if you can start like your Rosie, like these guys priced at low hundreds, high 90s that have done 110 in the past, or like 108 plus, for example, probably look more to there, even if they are like Dawson. He's taggable, but he's priced at like 99 at the moment. So he's one I'll pretty heavily look at. Speaking about Dawson individually, that's for another time, because we know there's like, that he gets thrown around a bit and stuff, but probably more like I'm not going to start high-priced Dunkley or Treloar at just because they're not tagged. They're price. But they're ones where as soon as they drop, I'll heavily look at. Well, I'll probably Death Ride Trill for the 10th year in a row. But Dunkley certainly.
Would you not start so wrong because you might get a tag in the first month and then
Probably,
you can pick him up? Yeah. Is that where we're saying? Yeah.
I don't think I'll start strong, but he's one I'll definitely want to get in because he's been a good own, and the attention's been ridiculous really similar to Anderson. Probably actually Anderson's had it worse because he's had it all year. Strong's probably just had it in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's probably more support at Freo than there is at Gold Coast at the minute. Even someone like Cripps going 110, and no one really goes near Cripps because he's kind of a weird player to tag. Like he's just such a brute in the contest. There's not really much you can do.
You can't send these 180 centimeter taggers to him and Bont.
And he's not. He can hurt you on the spread, but that's not his one wood. So it's not really like you need to follow him around the grounds, right? You just need to beat him at the contest, and you need
to put like a Dunkley or I think Pendlebury plays on him a fair bit.
Exactly, it's not, but it's a different type of play to tag, right? So, most teams go to Walsh or whatever. So anyway, I get his point for sure, but I think it's just with the high price guys that we've seen this year get tagged, we may avoid starting them right next year and pick them up cheaper.
Now, have you thought about captains? I think hopefully Max comes back. I think Max will be angry, missing 2 weeks off. He doesn't like missing footy. And then into Briggs, who gives up a lot, but he's been in good form, Briggs. And then what do you think of doing Nick into you guys?
Yeah, looks pretty good. Yeah, he'd be a nice fullback captain, I think. I don't see how we stop him. So,
do you have any thoughts on your captains?
No, I'm just looking at if you could VC Nick into someone afterwards, but obviously you don't get the full game until Bont plays, and then you're not really captaining anyone in that last game. So yeah, I think VC anyone you sort of like the look of before Sunday. So yeah, Max obviously. Maybe I do Sinclair. It's like I said I was last week against the Bombers, at Marvel.
Yeah.
Or no one really you own against for Geelong against North, I guess. Maybe a Stewart in the mid. I don't know. North's midfield's not too bad, so yeah, I don't know. Nothing major. Oh, we could do so wrong, I guess, against West Coast. Yeah, one of those, and then I think Nick's perfect to captain on a Sunday if whatever fails. So.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of noise in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but I was just going to say, if you have a Lions mid, Gold Coast mids are giving up a fair bit.
Yeah.
It is at People's first, but I would be probably another format. Might do Dunkley VC into Gawn. I don't like Gawn C. I'll probably still go Gawn VC, but I don't mind Dunkley at all. Or Neil. Yep. They don't really tag, so bounce back game. Like Sheasel had the worst score, 70, bang, bounce back. You see, strong bounce back's been coming. So I like trying to pick them off the bad ones.
Yeah, I get that.
The next one happens so much, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it. Anything else to add?
No, nothing from me.
Nice. We'd love some feedback on talking about other stuff as well.
Yeah, we'll put the timestamp there. Just if no one wants to listen, but hey, it's this time of the year, George. 5 weeks left. What do you rank? Did you even say that? Are you going to finish top 1K?
Injuries will decide that. So I'm still. I'm 774. My best ever is 350. So I'm going okay, but my team's good. I don't really I think more is my F5 than Jackson F6 with Dowling. It's supposed to be Philippou Jackson, but mid's fine. I guess Dawson out this week. That's going to cost probably 50 points.
Who's covering? Dowling?
Yeah, Dowling and...
he's been going pretty well.
Yeah, just Dowling, really. And he's got 180, so that F6 spot's whatever. Maybe Kerno pops up off and we lose points, but otherwise it's it's a crapshoot. So, yeah.
And you going on another podcast, are you, tomorrow?
hang out with DR and stuff. I kind of invited myself because DR said open invitation to come join the pod, and so I kind of invited, and then I sort of was like, hey, DR can come join next week, and he's like, yeah, great. So that'll be good. Catch up with. I don't think I've met Janeth before, but Spills and DR I've met a couple of times and speaking with. They do brilliant work, and you watch their podcast. There's so many graphics and stuff.
Oh yeah, they put way more effort into it than us.
And so they're doing some brilliant work, and not a lot of SC podcasts out there. A few have dropped off this year, so it's good to have another one to listen to. So that's it from me, and that's it. That's why I say in my videos. That's it from us, I guess. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.